Hi, I'm CL Coons. I'm the author of Collide, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Just wanted to make a welcome video for this YouTube channel and talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing a series of video on. This channel is going to be primarily focused towards writing, but also being what I call a writerpreneur, which is a writer entrepreneur. Whether you plan on being an independent author and doing an independent release, or whether your goal is to have an agent and ultimately an editor and a publishing house and go the traditional route, you will need to know how to market yourself. There's very little money left in the industry to help a new writer get started. So hopefully this channel will give you some ideas on how to do that. And if you have anything specific that you'd like for me to talk about, please feel free to contact me via YouTube or via my website, clcoons.com, and I'm happy to make some videos on those specific topics. So I wanted to get started and tell you a little bit about myself because, well, it's kind of the easiest way to start. I think we can build a relationship if you have kind of an idea of who I am as a person. So let me tell you a little bit about how I got started. I'm kind of one of those people that when I think about my writing story, I always go back to this one time when I was like 5 years old. My grandmother was babysitting me and used to wear a pretty dress, and I would take a box of crayons and lay underneath this antique wooden coffee table that she has. And I would just take those crayons and I would write little stories and poems underneath the underside of the table. And I'll never forget the day that she figured out what I was doing. She flipped over the table and underneath were gibberish and just words and stories and poems, and I got in so much trouble. I got grounded. I can't even tell you. But when I talk to her about my writing career, it's pretty much always come back to that moment where we both kind of knew, despite the fact that I defaced her favorite table, that I was going to be a writer. It's just kind of always been. So I've always had a heavy interest in writing, and I've always spent a lot of my time at libraries. Just as a kid, I was we moved around a lot, so I did find a lot of solace in books, especially books that you can control, like the Choose Your Own Adventures. You guys remember those from the 80s? Good stuff. I loved those because I was in control of the story, and I think that ultimately leads to why I started writing, because I could control the story. So I wrote my first novel at, I think I was 13 or 14 years old, and a lot of my friends on Facebook that were my friends in high school definitely remember me walking around toting my page after page after page of handwritten manuscript and making them read it all. And it was dreadful and horrible, but they were all really great and supportive, and they pushed me to write another one, which I ended up doing at 17. And then I got married, and then I moved to Arizona. I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. Got married and decided to explore my passion for fashion. And I think as a girl, you just get to that point where you just love fashion a ton and you just want to do it all the time. So I thought my background in writing, which was, high school newspaper and some, manuscripts that I had handwritten, I started a website called West 48 in early 2002, which was a beauty, fashion, lifestyle online magazine geared towards like teenagers and college age students, which I was at the time. And it did really well. I got to interview like Michelle Branch and, met a lot of cool people, worked with a lot of cool companies, and helped them, but also really got to understand the ins and outs of magazine writing. And from there I ended up getting a job at About.com, which is a New York Times subsidiary, and I was a teen fashion expert for them. So again, I was generating content, I was writing all the time, I absolutely loved it. And I was also self-employed, which plays into the whole writerpreneur thing. I think as a writer, I've always been self-employed and doing freelance stuff. It's just kind of been what's always fallen into my lap. Even when I was a staff writer, it was always on a self-employed basis. So from About.com, and I segued into 944 magazine, some UK-based magazines, just kind of all over the place. And then the more I did it, the more I found that I really, really missed that fiction creation side of things, where I could make these people up in my head and just dictate their lives and find 8 million ways to ruin it. So I did take a little break from that journalistic side of things and ended up writing Collide back in September of 2008. So that's pretty much my little story of how I got started. And I think that now that Collide's out and it's available for purchase at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble's website, and indie bookstores around the country and in Canada and the UK, I believe, that it really I found myself in the position of needing to know how to market myself, how to get my work out there, how to get the word out about me. So I started doing a ton of research on social media, that type of thing. And I've always run side businesses doing web design and graphic design. and I just kind of had to figure out how to get myself out there. So what I'm going to full circle back to is going back to being a writerpreneur and helping you guys figure out, now that you've got this manuscript that you believe is the best it can possibly be, and we'll get into that a little bit about the actual writing craft and critiquing and that type of thing, is that how to get your work out there, ways to blog and ways to get eyeballs on your work. So I hope that you'll find this channel interesting. You can expect several updates a week from me. And again, if you have any specific topics you'd like for me to talk about, please definitely get in touch with me, and I'm happy to answer them for you. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.